The Olympic flame is due to arrive in the UK tonight for the start of the London 2012 Torch Relay. Sports First will bring you a detailed report on the 8,000-mile 70-day Torch Relay, which begins tomorrow. All these and more coming your way on Primetime News right now.
A very good evening and welcome to News Buzz Primetime News here on MTV Sports. I'm Ramesh Irugal Bandara.
And I'm Punchani Ebrasinger. Time now to take a look at your headlines.
South Fonseca granted bail in the case relating to the charge of harboring army deserters. Anoma Fonseca says that the president informed her that South Fonseca will be released. The president declares open the second phase of the Setsiripaya administrative complex. A working director of the National Savings Bank resigns in protest over the finance company's shares transaction. And the former Minister of Sports extends his wishes to the MTV MBC networks on broadcasting the 2012 London Olympics.
Starting off with local news, former Army Commander Sarath Fonseca was granted bail today by the Colombo High Court when the case relating to the charge of harbouring army deserters was taken up. Bail was granted following consideration of a motion filed by Fonseca's counsel.
The case against former Army Commander Sarath Fonseca, which includes the charge of harbouring army deserters, is being heard in the Colombo High Court. Although the next hearing was scheduled for the 7th of June, a motion seeking bail was filed by the counsel for Fonseca yesterday and considered today. Accordingly, an order was issued yesterday for Fonseca to be produced in court today. While Fonseca, who is receiving treatment at a private hospital in Colombo, was not present in court today, prison officials submitted a medical report on his health to court. Having considered the submissions of both parties, High Court Judge Sunil Rajpaksa ordered that Fonseca be released on cash bail of 1 million rupees and two sureties of 2.5 million rupees each.
Representing the Attorney General in court today, the senior state counsel said that the prosecution has no objection to bail being granted. Accordingly, the High Court decided to release Fonseca on bail. A request was made that his passport be submitted to court and steps are being taken to submit it within the day.
We are happy. Receiving bail means some sort of relief. We hope for justice from courts in the future as well. The President said that the General would be released, so the legal aspects are being looked into now. He did not say anything specific. All he said was that he would be freed. No, the legal aspects need to be discussed. No, he did not mention a date.
Several public representatives were present at the High Court today.
He was the presidential candidate of the UNP and also the hero who freed the country from terrorism so we could have freedom. In addition, when a social injustice was done, those of us who believe in justice and fairness, those of us who believe in human rights, stood up for him. Also, we will continue to stand up for him until he has complete freedom and until he has the opportunity to live in this country as a respectable citizen. We believe that following the decision to grant bail today, the remaining bonds will also be untied and that on the 19th, which is tomorrow, when the country celebrates heroes who freed the country, he will also receive his freedom. He is an individual who we all love and who saved the country from terrorism.
Meanwhile, as news that former Army Commander Sarath Fonseca had been granted bail by the High Court spread, people gathered in numbers opposite the court complex.
Well, the bail that was stipulated by the Colombo High Court was deposited this afternoon. Once the bail conditions were fulfilled, the Chief Registrar and the Head Translator of the Colombo High Court visited former Army Commander Sarath Fonseca at the private hospital in which he is receiving treatment. Sarath Fonseca's signature was obtained for the relevant court documents. Meanwhile, individuals including politicians had been arriving at the hospital from morning.
We were told that General Fonseca will be released within the next couple of days. But so far, unfortunately, we have not got a perfect date so far. So we are also waiting, and I hope that it will be very soon. Most probably should be on the weekend.
There are more legal issues that need to be sorted out. Once they are all over, we believe that he will be freed. We did not think it would happen, but we are happy. He has not recovered fully. We will not take him out of hospital till Dr. Wajira Thennakon recommends it.
Several cases have been filed against the former Army Commander Sarath Fonseca on numerous charges. The case pertaining to the charge of engaging in politics while in active service was heard in the first court-martial. The case pertaining to the charge relating to the purchase of armaments for the army violating the tender procedure was heard in the second court-martial. Fonseca was found guilty on both court-martials on the 13th of August 2010 and the 17th of September 2010 respectively. Accordingly, he was stripped of his rank and sentenced to 2.5 years of rigorous imprisonment. On the 18th of November last year, after a guilty verdict was handed down by the Colombo High Court in the White Flag case, Fonseca was sentenced to 3 years rigorous imprisonment and ordered to pay a 5,000 rupee fine. On the 15th of March, Fonseca was acquitted by the Colombo High Court from the High Court case. Accordingly, from the 5 cases filed against the former Army Commander, thus far, he has been acquitted in only one of them. Well, here are some of the views expressed by our viewers on bail being granted to former Army Commander Sarath Fonseca on our website www.newsfirst.lk. Now, Garfield congratulates Fonseca and says that the government should have done this 2 years ago. Meanwhile, Sanjeeva, commenting on the issue, says that the government has finally understood its mistake. Shane also commented on the matter and he said that Fonseca was the real architect of the war victory.
Time now to take a look at the cartoon of the day, which we selected from amongst today's English newspapers.
UNP Deputy Leader Sajid Premdas states that former Army Commander Sarath Fonseca should be granted complete freedom. He expressed this view while attending a function in Veeravilla this afternoon.
If it is a good deed, we ought to say it, and if there are any shortcomings, we ought to point them out.
Sarath Fonseca මැතිතුමාව නිදහස් කරයි කියලා නිකන් එළියට දානවට පමණක් මම නම් කැමති නැහැ. මම ඉල්ලීමක් කරනවා එතුමාට ලබා දුන්නු ජෙනරාල් පදවිය.
I request that his rank be restored along with his pension. All the decorations he received and the medals he won should all be handed back to him. At a time when the tiger terrorists who attacked the Dalada Maligawa and the Jayashree Mahabodhya are being protected and are living in the lap of luxury, I request that General Fonseca, who destroyed terrorism, be given the freedom to vote and take part in elections when he is freed, so that his freedom will be a complete freedom.
සම්පූර්ණව එතුමාගේ නිදහස තහවුරු කරන්නයි කියලා මම බොහොම කරුණාවෙන් ඉල්ලීමක් කරා.
152 children of the Veeravilla Kudagam Manahaya area were presented bank savings books under the Jana Suvaya program.
The second phase of the Bathramulla administrative complex was declared open by President Mahinda Rajapaksa this morning. According to the President's media unit, 3.5 billion rupees had been spent on the complex, which comprises 14 stories.
9 ministries are to be established at the complex. Accordingly, the Ministries of Economic Development, Traditional Industries and Small Enterprise Development, Civil Aviation, Rehabilitation and Prison Reforms will be located at the new complex. In addition, the Ministries of Technology and Research, Social Services, Foreign Employment Promotion, National Heritage and State Management Reforms will also be located in the new administrative complex.
Minister of Labour and Labour Relations and a former Minister of Sports, Kamini Lokuge, expressed his views on the MTV-MBC networks broadcast in the 2012 London Olympics.
Several Sri Lankans have secured an Olympic berth this time as well. We should appreciate that and wish them all the luck to secure victory and make our country proud. Sri Lankans expect to view the Olympics, which takes place once every 4 years through improved technology. I am extremely happy about Sirasa coming forward and taking this opportunity, as the organization has rendered an immense service to the development of sports and sportsmen in the past. So I expect that everyone in this country will get to witness all the Olympic events through Sirasa, and I am very happy about Sirasa getting this opportunity.
Meanwhile, three-time Olympic competitor and Commonwealth medalist Sri Lankan hurdler Shriyani Kulawansa also expressed her views about the MTV-MBC networks broadcasting the Olympics.
The Olympics is the biggest sporting event in the world, and earning an Olympic berth is very difficult. It's a dream, and I had that dream since I was 13 and it became a reality. I wish all the athletes who secure an Olympic berth to do their best to make our country proud. I also congratulate Sirasa for securing the opportunity to telecast the Olympics to the entire country, an event which is witnessed by the entire world.
Getting back to one of our local stories now, the traffic congestion reported on the Southern Expressway has now eased. Earlier, severe traffic congestion was reported owing to an accident near the 15-kilometer post in the Bandaragama area. Now, police media spokesperson SP Ajit Rohana said that a lorry had toppled, obstructing traffic on the Galle-Colombo lane.
Minister of External Affairs Professor G.L. Peiris, who is on a 4-day official visit to the United States, met with U.S. national security and trade officials yesterday.
According to a communique issued by the Ministry of External Affairs, Professor G.L. Peiris took part in a cordial meeting with Samantha Power, a special assistant to U.S. President Barack Obama, Senior Director of Multilateral Affairs on the staff of the National Security Council, Michael Newbill, and the NSC Director for South Asia, Jason Donovan. The communique noted that Minister Peiris had given the NSC staff members a comprehensive update on post-conflict developments in Sri Lanka, progress on reconciliation, and on the Lessons Learned and Reconciliation Commission, including the government's effort to implement the Commission's recommendations. Professor G.L. Peiris has also met the Deputy United States Trade Representative, Ambassador Dimitrios Merantis, and held extensive discussions on trade and the economy. The Minister of External Affairs had briefed Ambassador Merantis on the developments taking place post-war and had pointed out that there were many investment opportunities for U.S. companies. The communique went on to say that Ambassador Merantis had expressed his appreciation over the notable progress made by Sri Lanka in a number of areas, including the U.S. GSP review. Meanwhile, Minister G.L. Peiris had also attended a reception at the Sri Lankan ambassador's residence last evening, where senior U.S. officials from the Departments of State, Commerce, Defense, the U.S. Trade Representative's Office and Congress, as well as business leaders had been present. The minister had also addressed members of the Sri Lankan community who had gathered at the ambassador's residence.